Yes, good Garvey Day, brother. Where you calling from today? Oh, man. Negro peeing, brothers and sisters. Negro peeing. Let me make sure I block him. He called last. Okay. If you have a question about your child, 215-989-9858. Text. Do not call. Text your name and your city. Okay. We might be getting off early today. If no parents need no help, we will be getting off early today. We've had a whole bunch of snow bunny murders. I don't know what's going on with black men and these relationships with Neanderthal women. I don't know what's going on with black people and these relationships with the Neanderthal community. Ice and sun don't mix. One cannot exist with the other. Ice and sun do not mix. One cannot exist with the other. Ice and sun do not mix. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Text your name or your city. Brothers and sisters, State of South Carolina wants to execute a black man on the 29th of this month. State of South Carolina wants to execute a black man on the 29th of this month. State of South Carolina wants to execute a black man. We hope that doesn't happen. We send support to him and his family. This will be the first time in recent history of South Carolina that they will execute someone by firing squad. Believe it or not, I believe the South Carolina legislature reinstituted firing squad executions not too long ago because they were not able to find the 3-drug cocktail they need for lethal injection. In order to quench the thirst for blood that South Carolina Neanderthals have, the legislature in South Carolina went ahead and reinstituted death by firing squad. So if the brother's case is accepted by the Supreme Court, because as you know, the Supreme Court picks and chooses, the U.S. Supreme Court picks and chooses their cases. If the brother's case is taken by the U.S. Supreme Court, then Sister Judge Ketanji, who was just confirmed a few days ago, her very first case, Sister Judge Ketanji, I hope you're listening, your very first case may decide whether or not that black man's life will be taken by way of cruel and unusual punishment. How will you vote? Sister Judge Ketanji, your very first decision on the Supreme Court bench may center around whether or not this black man's life should be taken by way of cruel and unusual punishment, by way of the firing squad or the electric chair. How will Snow Bunny Ketanji vote? How will Snow Bunny Ketanji vote? How will Snow Bunny Ketanji vote? Let me see if we got any parents. We are here for the parents today, not for the politics. Okay, Oklahoma City. Albany, Georgia. I need a location. Sunday, May 1st, 5 to 9. Albany, Georgia. Hit me up. Albany, Georgia.
Hello.
Peace and love, Sister Rosalind. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right. And you're calling from what city in Georgia, if I may ask, sister?
I'm calling from Alpharetta.
Alpharetta. That's right outside of Atlanta?
Yes, the suburb of Atlanta.
Got you. Go right ahead with your question.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, is it too late for my son? He's 19 years old, and he has been pulled over by the police twice now, and it's hard to, like, figure out what to do with him.
Okay. So what's going on with him? I know you said he was pulled over by the police twice, but what is your concern? What's going on with him?
Well, I feel as if he might be having mental issues, because it's mostly my boys, not my daughters.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main concern. And I'm like, why is it my boys and not my daughters?
Right. Well, I can say this. Oftentimes, and this might not be the case with you, good sister, but oftentimes mothers tend to raise their daughters and love their sons. Mothers tend to raise their daughters and love their sons, which means the daughters tend to do a little better. They tend to be more independent, more responsible, because they're given more discipline. Whereas with the boys, because the black woman is so afraid of what could happen to them in society, or because she feels so guilty that the father is not there, she tends to enable his dysfunctional behaviors and provide him and shower him with a whole bunch of love and emotional support. But she tends not to give her son the same discipline and expectation of responsibility that she gives to her daughter. So raising the daughters and loving the sons is one of the challenges of the single black mother household. Does that sound like you?
Yes, it does. And I was trying to figure out, is it because I'm not able to function as a man, or?
No, it's not that you can't function as a man. Again, it's that it's not natural for the mother in most cases to be the disciplinarian and the boundary setter. The disciplinarian and the boundary setter is usually the masculine parent. So it's usually the father. And so the balance of the household is the mother provides the emotional support and the father provides the discipline. So you have your left brain, right brain balance in the home. You have your masculine, which is your discipline and your responsibility and your structure. And then you have your feminine, which is your love, your emotional support, you see. But when the father's not there, the mother has to play both roles. And
right,
of course,
I'm having a hard time trying to make that happen, because I feel like I'm always, at work, and I just don't know how to execute that discipline that they need at this age.
How old are your sons?
19 and 12. You met one of them.
19 and 12. Okay. What is the 19-year-old? Is he out of high school yet?
No, he's still struggling to try to do that. The judge did. He judged him well. He said, if you finish high school, I'll drop all of these charges.
Okay. What grade is he in?
Well, it'll be 12th grade. He's trying to finish right now.
Okay. One of the things I often tell parents with high school students who are not necessarily motivated to complete high school is you got to have a real gut check conversation with your son to decide if it's better for him to just take his GED and get it over with. A GED prep course, which are normally free, but it might be better for him to take a GED prep course and go ahead and sit for his GED. That way he'll be done with high school. He can go right into trade school or college or whatever the case may be. And you guys are right there in the mecca of the HBCUs down in Georgia. You got Alabama, you got South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. You guys are right there in the center of HBCU country. So for me, the question is whether he should be focusing on a GED. If he's not going to finish, it ain't no need to play around with it. If he can, if he wants to finish, that's one thing. But if he's not going to take it seriously, you know, it's no need to play around with it. And he needs to just go ahead and prepare for his GED.
Gotcha. That makes sense. My other son, I feel like he suffers with like homosexuality, you know, tendencies. He wants to start wearing makeup and stuff like that.
No, tell him we're not doing that. Tell him we're not doing that. Tell him in your house, you have a certain code of conduct. It's real simple. No debates. I'm the parent. This is my house. I pay the bills. When you move out this house, not when you turn 18, because he may very well still be in your house when he's 18. He may still very well be in your house at 21. You tell him when you move out of this house, after your 18th birthday, whenever that is, when you're out my house, then you can make decisions for your own life. But in this house, children do not make those kinds of decisions. Adults make them. And when you're on your own and out of my house, you can do whatever you want to do at that point. Now, but here's the question for both of your sons. Where is the influence coming from? With your younger son, where is the influence coming for him to join the Rainbow Nation? And for your older son, where's the influence coming for the juvenile delinquency?
TikTok for the 12-year-old.
Okay.
I believe strongly, but he says it's not. So
you saying there's a strong rainbow movement on TikTok?
Right.
Okay, I haven't really had a chance to really go through TikTok. So then you may have to ban him from TikTok. You may have to ban him from TikTok or give him an ultimatum. The next time you start acting like you want to float around my house, I'm going to ban you from TikTok. You know, but you got to put some boundaries there. If it's already too far gone, then you might just got to ban him from TikTok, because that influence is clearly getting the best of him, and we can't have that. We need men for our women in the community. So you may have to ban TikTok. Be careful what you say to him, though. Be careful what you say, because, you know, we're living in an era where children have a right to be adults. And if you say the wrong thing, they will accuse you of child abuse and try to take him from you and send him to a rainbow family where he's free to, you know, participate in things that we don't necessarily agree with under the umbrella of African culture. So, you know, I wouldn't even get into it. It's my house. We don't do it. And you're going to follow my rules. And by the way, let's take that TikTok off your phone. You need a break. You might just need to give them a break. There you go. Give them a break from TikTok. No TikTok until school starts back up. You're done with TikTok for this summer. This spring and summer, no TikTok. You might want to consider that. With your older son, he needs an after-school job. And he needs some sort of a structured activity that he can participate in. Where is their father?
Strung out on drugs in Toledo, Ohio, for the oldest one. He's already, you know, he wanted to sign his rights over at 4. So he never was a part of his life. The other one, he wants to get his son in for the summer, but he assaulted my daughter when she was 7.
Okay. But what type of assault?
The judge said that he's not doing any harm to his son, so he should be kept out of his son's life. So I was maybe forced to let him participate in his life.
Okay, so
sexual rape.
Understood. Okay, yeah, well, that's serious there. That's serious. Very serious. Probably the most egregious thing that you can be charged or accused of. So he's going to get his son?
He's got them already a few times.
He's in Georgia with you?
Yeah, you know, he's in Wisconsin.
Okay, so how do they...
a few summers, nothing happened, but he has some type of homosexual stepson there, and I think he kind of got some stuff from him, and I always say that that's where he learned this from originally, because his ex-wife, she had a lot of, like, you know, gay friends.
Okay, so this is what I want you to do, Queen. This is what I want you to do, Queen. This is what I want you to do. Use the word rainbow instead of the G word or the H word.
Okay.
Because they'll shut us down on social network. You know, they're the most protected group in America. So just say rainbow instead of the word, and we'll know what you're speaking of, just so they don't try to shut the broadcast down. But go right ahead, continue. Just say rainbow. Yeah.
The rainbow friends of the ex-wife was a major influence on the influence of her semi-rainbow son.
Okay.
So, and that's where I think he got most of his attributes and his desires from.
That's a tough one, because that's a tough one. I'm going to tell you why. Because if I'm sitting in your seat, and I have a 12-year-old son, okay, and his other parent has a questionable rainbow history, or a stepchild that might be a part of rainbow culture, you know, and then the parent was found to have sexually abused one of my other children. So the parent sexually abused one of my children. The parent's stepchild has a rainbow history. And now my son has rainbow tendencies. There's very few situations under which I would say it's acceptable to withhold a child from the parent. Very few situations under which I would agree it's acceptable to withhold a child from the parent. But I'm going to tell you, sister, you might have just gave me my first. You might have just given me my first. I could not send my child to the other parent if that parent was convicted of child sex abuse, has a stepchild who engages in rainbow culture, and then my own child has a questionable interest in Rainbow Nation, which may have actually been triggered by his experience around the other parent and that parent's stepchild. I don't think I could send him. I couldn't do it. If that parent wants to see their child, it would have to be supervised visitation, possibly at the courthouse or inside the home of a relative. I could not send my 12-year-old around that type of energy. I couldn't. He could end up getting turned out. I could not do it. I cannot do it. Now, the judge, 99% of me says the judge should have denied him the visitation.
Right.
I understand potentially for the 1% why he didn't, only because the judge may have been of the mindset that the parent has a heterosexual pedophilia history, heterosexual pedophilia urge. And so the judge is thinking, well, he touched the girl, he didn't touch the boy. But the reason why I can't go with that either is because you don't know if it's a bisexual pedophilia. You see, and you can't take the chance. You can't take the chance on your son's life to find out if the other parent is simply a heterosexual pedophile or a bisexual pedophile. It's too risky, so no. The judge should have voted it down. The judge should have voted it down. Your son's mental health and sexual health cannot be left up to chance because he simply has not been found guilty of touching boys. No, the judge was wrong. No. 100% the judge was wrong. Should not have allowed him to get his son. Supervised visitation. You may have to go back to court. And again, this is all based on if everything you're saying is correct, okay, and true. You see, now if it was just an allegation and it wasn't proven, that's a different conversation. It's still a concern though, because you got the stepchild in there, running around with the flag, the rainbow flag. So it could still be a concern, even if it was just an allegation against the other parent. But if this was a proven thing and you got the stepchild, that's too much sexual perversion, deviation going on for me to send my child. My goodness, my goodness.
And I've been wanting to talk to you a long time about this, but I just never knew how to text you or, you know, and I was in Philly the other time. I was like, dang, I wish I could just have a conversation. I was in Philly like the day before yesterday.
Oh, wow. You should have reached out to me.
Yeah, yeah. But thank you.
No problem.
I really appreciate that expertise and that conversation coming from you.
And you have my number, so reach out whenever you can. Your situation is a very challenging one, sister. We stand behind you. It's not easy. If there's any brothers out there in Atlanta who know of any programs for 12 and 17-year-old black boys, please reach out to me so I can reach out to the sister. If you know of any programs, I don't care if it's chess, mentorship, you know, boys club, anything that's positive for boys that we can send to this sister to get her sons involved in, please reach out to me so I can reach out to her. So if I hear from any brothers who is watching this live, I'll definitely get that information to you.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, Queen. Be blessed.
Okay.
All right. Man, that pedophilia is a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a thing. And it makes it real bad for good brothers, because what happens is when you date a woman with children, or even when you have your own biological children, sometimes women can never be comfortable with a man around their daughters, even when there is no evidence whatsoever of pedophilia, because of all the men who take advantage of young children. It's a shame. But let us also say that women are just as guilty. There's just as many women who take advantage of children as there are men. But that tends to go unnoticed because pedophilia has been painted with a man's face. Just like crime has been painted with a black face, pedophilia has been painted with a man's face.
Hello.
Good morning, Sister Anitra. How's Hanover, Maryland treating you?
Oh, I am so watching your live right now as we speak.
All right, all right. Question: Hanover, Maryland, is that next to Baltimore?
County?
Give me that county.
1 second. Let me get my child together. 1 second.
No problem. No problem.
Hey, babe. Dr. Umar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Hanover, Maryland is in Anne Arundel County in Maryland.
Okay, I know where you are. I know where you are.
Yeah.
You up there by the outlets.
Correct.
I got you. I got you.
It's like the mall in Anne Arundel County.
I got you. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Go right ahead with your question, Queen.
Okay, so as of right now, we're in a process of my child is being evaluated. He's 2 years old. He's not speaking. We're going through speech therapy,
Okay.
Occupational therapy, feeding therapy, and we just had an evaluation on Friday, and the doctor is referring us for him to have the 𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚂𝚗𝚱 evaluation. That's the autistic evaluation.
Okay.
And I'm a little confused only because my fiance and I, we're in Maryland. We're originally from Louisiana, and just trying to process everything of what is our best move. My son he entered into daycare very late because COVID broke out. I feel like we didn't know what to do. We don't have a village here. He's military, so we're trying to do things on our own. And we realized, okay, maybe we should have done things differently. And we're just trying to figure out what is the best thing for us to do. I don't believe he's autistic, but at the same time, I do recognize that he is developmentally delayed, and I'm not certain if I want to proceed forward with the 𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚂𝚗𝚱 evaluation, and I just need a little insight or advice on how to proceed forward.
He was born premature?
No, he was born full term.
Mm-hmm.
He was induced.
Okay. But he doesn't speak. Does he make baby noises?
He does. Definitely makes baby noises. He does not consistently say mama, dada. It's really very much every now and then, but he does make noises. It's just not words as of yet.
Okay. So yeah, definitely the speech and the language eval. As far as the autistic eval, normally I would say wait, because they're not going to be able to confirm it. Even if they tell you, yeah, he has autism, you're not confirming that at all.
Okay.
Here's the only reason why I might proceed under your situation, despite him only being 2, because it sounds like his delays are rather significant. And so I'm wondering that even if they give him an improper diagnosis, what services would he get? In other words, I would look at it from the perspective of, if they're going to offer him services that are going to be beneficial to him, and I've never said this before, but I'm going to say it now. It sounds weird coming from me. But if they're going to offer him services that could be beneficial towards his language development and social development with the autistic label, I might allow the label just so he can get the services, because it sounds like his deficiencies are significant. And your child is the only child I've ever said this about in 25 years, but it sounds like his speech issues are very profound. And because of that, I'm saying, okay, because the issues are profound, although I know they cannot prove autism this young, they cannot confirm autism this young, can he benefit from that autistic service, even though the label may not be accurate? So I would ask them, if he's found to have autism, what exactly are you all going to, what services are you guys going to provide him with? And if they give me some strong, specific services, like a lot of the autistic kids get ABA, but then my question is, how effective is ABA going to be with a 2-year-old? You see what I'm saying? So, because, you know what, Queen, it's a toss-up. On the one hand, I'm like, give them the label if you're going to get some service. But then on the other hand, what autistic support are you giving a 2-year-old that they can actually take advantage of at 2?
Me personally, I did not like the assessment. One is because some of the things that they'll give you, and I'm pretty sure you know this, they'll ask for you to collect a group of items, like a wooden spoon, a baby doll. He's a boy. I've never put a baby doll in his hand, nor has he ever played with a wooden spoon, etc. So when the doctor was asking him to do certain tasks, of course he was looking like, what the hell is this? But my main concern is the label. Once a child is labeled, I know that it stays with that child for the rest of their life until they transition to college. And so I am battling with the decision of, do I get a second opinion? Do I proceed forward with this, with the referral? And so I understand, me being a first-time parent, I know my best move, or my next move needs to be my best move. And I can't afford to make any mistakes right now. So that's where I'm looking
Here's the other thing too, just to consider. I think I'm leaning towards my wisdom, which is to wait and not do it now. But just so you know, he can be reevaluated and the label can be removed later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, children.
I'm taking notes, by the way.
Yeah, children have to be reevaluated every 3 years in America. If you have a disability, every 3 years, right? So he can be reevaluated and taken off. You can request a reevaluation right before kindergarten to see if autism was correct. My biggest thing is, what service is he going to get at 2? Like, I can't think of what they're going to do with him at 2.
Well, that is a good question, and I did ask about that, and so we were prompt, and I did call, but I did not receive, anyone answering the phone, so I am going to make it a priority to call this week. A service called Infant and Toddlers. I did look at the ratings for Baltimore area. The ratings were very low. The reviews did highlight a lot of the parents kind of
complaining about the services, not being able to benefit from the service, etc. So that was a little off-putting for me.
And that's where he would get the service.
Sir, can you repeat that, please?
And that location is where he would get his service.
Yep, the Baltimore.
Then I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. If it's going to be inner city in our community, no way. No way. It would have to be something real special. You feel me? Like something that's new and, you know, great reviews and all this research. And
I believe you 100%.
Nah, if it's a hood program, he going to get a hood program? Nah, don't label him. Nope. Tell them we just interested in the speech and language right now. We'll revisit the autism when he's a little older. You can't prove autism anyway at that age. You don't have to say it to them. They'll probably try to argue you down. You can't. There's no way you're going to prove autism in a 2-year-old. I mean, nah, I would wait. Don't do it. They want the money. Remember, it's all about the money. It's all about the money.
How long should we wait? Because as of right now, he is signed up, and we have been going to his sessions for speech, occupational, and feeding. So we are receiving services right now as we speak. But when you say wait, how long should we wait?
When is his 3rd birthday?
August. It's August 27th.
August 27th. I'm August the 21st. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, federal special ed begins at 3, right? So when he turns 3, at that time, if you decide you want him evaluated for autism, you can contact the local school district and tell them your son is 3. He might need early intervention for autism. 3 is still young. A part of me says wait until 4 at least.
Honestly, I agree with you. And I talked to my fiance about it. We're followers of you, by the way.
Okay. Supporters.
So we are well aware of how this process works, but we definitely threw out the number 4 because technically 4 is the age where if we decide Uriah does not have to go to preschool. So we can allow him to go to school at 4. We could just do the grunt work to get him sped up to where he needs to be. And so we're making decisions right now. So
I would wait. I think I would wait because there's no clear benefit to labeling him right now. Again, if it was some sort of a special program and all this, we do this and we do this, then I might say, you know what, even though it's still young, for the sake of the program benefits, I'll give him the label. But you don't even have a program that even remotely sounds like it's going to be of any benefit to him, which basically means the only person who benefits from his label is the provider, because they'll be billing the state for the service. Because remember, it's all about money. It's all about money. You know, they want him evaluated so they can get more money. You see, for them, it's not whether for them, they don't care if the autism is accurate or not. They get paid by the labels. And so the one thing I try to get Black parents to understand, they don't care. Like people say, Dr. Umar, you say 3, 4, 5, and 6 is too early for a psychological evaluation. So why is the school pressuring me to get them tested at 3, 4, 5, and 6? Because they want to start the money. They want money. It's about the money. Services for you equals money for them. So it's all about the money. So I would wait, Queen. I would wait. How often is your son exposed to other children his age, other 2-year-olds?
Good question. So last year he was in daycare, and it wasn't until February of this year where we removed him. Last year, the daycare was singing Uriah's praises in the sense of like, he's really good, he's very respectful, he listened to our commands, etc., etc. He also had a beautiful rapport with his teacher. Now, so this is a daycare that we have, as parents, we have to pack his lunch. We noticed within 1 week that he stopped eating his food. Now, he does have a very picky palate. So we noticed that, okay, he's not eating his food at daycare. I wonder what's going on. Me as a parent, I reached out to the daycare. My fiance and I, we scheduled pretty much a meeting with the director as well as his teacher. That is when it brought to our attention that Uriah's teacher changed. We were a little upset because it was just like, I would hope when something changes in his classroom that you, as the program or the school or the daycare, you would bring it to the parents' decision or you would bring it to our attention first, but they didn't. And we didn't notice the changes until we saw that, okay, his food is coming back, his lunchbox is coming back full. But the director did bring to our attention, his teacher is completely new. And so the only thing that comes to mind is that whoever his new teacher is, he's not responding well. And it wasn't until he switched to a new teacher when the director eventually came to us and was just like, you know, we feel like we are a disservice to Uriah, and we think that it's best that you find somewhere else for him to receive services. So he was at daycare full all last year, and it wasn't until this year we pulled him out because the daycare said that they believe that they are a disservice to him. And so he's home with me. I work remote, and in between time, I try to do activities with him. And so I am also battling the decision of, should I quit my job temporarily and develop a curriculum for him while he is home? We are going through a process of hiring a nanny to give him one-on-one, like spending one-on-one time with him. That has not been successful, but we're still screening and, you know, doing the interviews for nannies and see if anything come about. But long story short, I'm battling with the decision of, should I just quit my job right now and develop a curriculum for my child while he's home?
Well, to be honest, one of the biggest things he needs right now is social interaction with other 2-year-olds. That doesn't have to be a daycare. That could be play dates, you know. So I don't know. Yeah. You guys got to find other parents in the neighborhood with 2-year-olds, other black parents with 2-year-olds, and you have to arrange for him to spend time with them other children. He needs that. That social development at his age is going to be critical. And of course, I'm sure you guys know you got to read to him a whole lot, because at 2 years old, you know, his vocabulary is going to quadruple between now and 5 years old. It's going to quadruple. The greatest expansion in a person's vocabulary is from 2 to 5. So we have to make sure we're maximizing his ability to learn the English language and any other language for that matter, in case you want to teach them another one, because the younger they are, the better it is to teach them, to make them bilingual, the younger they are. So that's the language side. But on the social side, he has to be around other 2-year-olds. I would say at least minimum twice a week for an hour minimum. So you guys got to hunt out some black parents with 2-year-olds, you know, where he can just go in the playpen with them, crawl around with them. He needs to interact with them other 2-year-olds, because they will help him to develop his language skills as well as his social skills. That would be more important than you quitting your job.
Find another daycare.
Yeah, you could look for another daycare, or look for some parents, you know, with some 2-year-olds and say, hey, my son needs some play dates. He needs some social interaction. You know, can I bring him by an hour, you know, twice a week for an hour? You know, it'd be perfect. Even if it's just one kid, you know, I would ideally like to have him around 3 to 5, but even if it's just one kid, you know, it would be good. You know, but he got to get around them other children right now, especially given the fact that he has his speech delays, because he can start to look autistic and not be, just because he's not around enough kids. He's not comfortable being around other kids.
Got it. Awesome. Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm definitely going to now play on the idea, okay, forget the whole nanny route, potentially look into other daycares in the area.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes. No problem, Queen. And keep me posted. You have my number.
Awesome.
But hold off on that autism for now. Hold off on that for now.
Okay.
Okay, love. All right. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
You too. Okay. Dr. Umar, what can we as young black mothers do to combat our young babies from becoming YouTube zombies or technology junkies? I have a lot to say about that, but I don't know what to do. I'm 24-year-old, 3-year-old. I'm struggling because my 3-year-old is becoming brain with technology. Take it away from him. This is a great question, by the way, to my sister in Norristown, PA. Great question to my sister in Norristown, PA. Parents, you heard what I just told the previous caller. Your child's vocabulary is going to grow exponentially between the age of 2 and 5. exponentially between the age of 2 and 5. Exponentially. The worst thing you can do is turn your child into a YouTube zombie and a social media addict between 2 and 5. They don't need cartoons. You understand me? They don't need Facebook, Twitter, video games. No, books and toys. Where the Legos at? They need the Legos. Get their analytical skill. Legos. Get the big box of Legos, the puzzles, okay? If you're going to have a tablet with some computer games, let it be language. Let it be letters and sounds and colors and shapes. Do not sit your child in front of a TV, YouTube, or social network. That's the worst thing you can do at that time. Toys, okay? Toys and academic activities for the young children, okay? If there's some academic cartoons, no problem. Academic video games, no problem. But you still want to limit it. Put crayons in their hand. They should be coloring in the coloring book. Old school activities are best. Old school activities are best. Old school activities are best. Turn off the TV. If it was up to me, there wouldn't even be a TV in the home if the child hasn't graduated from high school yet. Okay? There wouldn't even be a TV in the home if I were in charge for children who haven't graduated from high school yet. Let's go to Trenton, New Jersey, where I did my pre-doctoral internship. Trenton, New Jersey.
Hello?
Peace and love, sister. Your name?
Melissa?
Melissa. You up in Trenton, Melissa?
Yes.
Okay, before you ask your question, Sister Melissa, let me put this on you for a minute. I spent the year in Trenton back in 2009 when I was completing my pre-doctoral psychology internship.
Okay.
And I haven't been to Trenton in about, wow, I don't know, 7, 8 years. I'm saying that to say that if you know of a space up there we can use, church, community center, you know, Black-owned event space, preferably free because it's going to be a free event. I wouldn't mind coming up there to do a free seminar for Black parents so they can know how to protect their kids from the school system. So if you just put that in the back of your mind, and if you say that
would be super dope. And I got a friend that's a DJ, so he knows like a lot of venues.
Okay, talk to him. Talk to him. Say,
I'm pretty sure he could find one.
Okay, so rap to him and say, hey, Dr. Umar want to come to Trenton for a free seminar for Black parents. You think we could find a space he can use for free for maybe 4 hours?
Yes.
And it'll be free and open to the, you know, community service. So talk to him, and if you come across something, just shoot me a text, and I'll call you, and we'll set it up.
Definitely. I'm going to talk to him today, actually.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I do. Right now, it's a lot of things happening in Trenton. They trying to, rebuild Trenton. So they got a lot of events coming up, and they want us to come together as a community. So I could talk to my friend and see what he says about the venue.
Gotcha. Perfect. Go right ahead with your question, good sister.
Okay, Dr. Umar, do not judge me. A couple nights ago, I was literally on the verge of calling dices on myself for my 9-year-old son. I was just done and over with it. I'm like, I don't care. Like, you want to, this is what you want. Y'all can come take this little boy. I'm done. So my son is like, I don't know if it's a respect thing. People keep saying, oh, maybe he don't respect you. I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Like, you don't respect me like I'm his mom. I don't know if it's respect thing or whatever. So when it comes to discipline for him, now he really feels like he don't got to listen to me. And I'm like, okay, the other night I called him in a lie. I'm like, okay, you got to stay in the corner. Doctor, the whole time, this little boy is standing there looking at me like, bitch, I'm not doing nothing you say. I'm not pumping tire. I'm not doing nothing you say. He want to keep being combative with me to the point where I'm sweating. I know I stopped. I ain't even popping with the belt no more. I'm like, I called my brother. I said, you got to come get this little boy or I'm going to kill him. And I said it just like that. Obviously, I'm not going to kill my son, but he got to go. So I'm like, what is the problem? I give you basically everything you want. I don't let you do whatever you want, but, you know, you got a game, you got a phone. I don't let you be in all the time, whatever. He just thinks he could do what he want, when he want. Even at school, they say, oh, he's very smart, but it's hard for him to concentrate and stuff like that. I understand that my son, and he's like, He's an energizer. He's like a Power Ranger. He has a lot of energy in him. So, but sir, you have to follow directions. The teacher says, sit down, sit down. You know what I'm saying? If I'm telling you, listen, you need to do this, that's what you need to do. You're not going to sit here and look at me crazy, but then when you go to my mom's house, you listen to her, you listen to my brother, you listen to my aunt, you listen to my uncle. But when it comes to me, he's looking at me like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? So
what grade is he in?
Okay, go ahead.
What grade is he in?
He is in 3rd grade.
3rd grade, and you said 9 years old. 9 years old?
Yes, he's 9 years old.
Okay, where's his biological father?
Their daddy's dead, and he died from overdose.
Okay.
Like,
what year did he pass? How long ago? How old was your son?
3 years ago. He was 5 at the time, and my mom had her feelings like, oh, you shouldn't have took them. I have 2 kids by him. You shouldn't have took them to the funeral. And I said, well, that's the last time they're going to see their daddy. Like, what was I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he still never got grieving counseling because I'm on Medicaid, and they were supposed to give us like counseling for that. That never happened. But even if that is the case, Lorenzo, we're not about to use that as a crutch. We're not going to do that. So, what is the issue?
Okay.
What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? How can we compromise? I should not have to put my hands on you for you to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Because back in the day, my mom was not playing that. My mom had 4 kids. Now she got 5. Was never playing that. We wasn't doing the back talking. Do what I said, or you will get back on and you go to your room. That was it. You know what I'm saying? But my mom, she parents different. Like, oh, you gotta do like she's soft now. She's soft, but she's firm at the same time. But she listens. He listens to her. And I'm like, I'm only maybe because I'm 30 and I'm still in my playful stage. I'm not like super old. I ain't super young, but I'm gonna be me. I don't feel like I gotta be like acting old for you to feel like, oh, now I can put some respect on her name. Like, no, you're gonna listen to me because I'm your mom. I take care of these bills. I run businesses. I show y'all how to get to the money. All of that. So what is the issue, Lorenzo?
How many children do you have, Queen?
2.
Oh, you only have 2?
Yes. A boy and a girl.
How old is his sister?
8.
Okay, so they're a year apart. And how is your relationship with his sister?
Oh, they're like peanut butter and jelly. They're super close.
Okay. And how is your relationship with your daughter versus your son?
She's easygoing. She tries to act like him, but she's the type she don't like getting popped. So it's like a 1, maybe 2 times I gotta talk to her. And she's like, okay, mommy, no problem. Let's stand at 3rd. It's easy. She's like more mature. If you want me to keep it real, she's like more mature than him.
Mm-hmm.
But me and her, we get along very great. She's easygoing.
Okay. Couple
Sometimes
thoughts.
She's separate days, but not as much as Lorenzo.
Couple thoughts. Number 1, his father passing, I'm pretty sure hurt him deeply. One thing you need to understand about anger in children, especially boys, it is often depression disguised as anger. This is very important for you to understand. Your son may actually be depressed, and his defiance towards you is how he masks his depression. That's number 1. Number 2, I think you might talk to him the same way you're talking now, which means you might be verbally abusive to your son. Do you think that's correct?
Dr. Umar?
Wait, answer that question first. Are you verbally abusive to your son?
When he took me to that point that day, I'm not gonna lie, I just started saying like anything. You know what I'm saying? But before it gets to that point, literally talking to him calm, like I'm talking to this boy calm, like talking to him nicely and everything. And my mom like, stop saying like you being nice to him. You his mom, you're not being nice to him. Like it sounds like you're compromising with him. But that's how I express myself. Honestly, if I'm talking nicely to you first, and it's just like, okay, now you want to pull it out. Let's pull it out. Let's go there. Maybe it is verbal abuse, but it's not like, no, it's not. I don't think it's verbal abuse.
I think you might be verbally abusive, and I think you might be emotionally detached from your son. When is the last time you hugged him and told him that you love him?
Every day.
Every day?
That boy smiles every every day. I love that little boy. It's when he starts acting like an a-hole. That's it. I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's like when you start acting like an a-hole.
Right, but I believe you be cursing at him, don't you?
I curse him, yeah.
See, you cursing at him. You're emotionally abusive to your son, and you need to become conscious of that, because I think that's fueling his anger. It's okay to be firm with your discipline, but verbal abuse is not discipline. Verbal abuse is not discipline. And I think what you do is you use verbal abuse as a form of discipline. That's child abuse. That's not discipline. Stop yelling and start giving him consequences, which doesn't always have to be a belt or a pop or a smack. Take away the things that he likes to do. Also make him do things he don't want to do. Okay, you didn't do what you're supposed to do in school today. You're going to go clean up the neighborhood today. You're going to go volunteer and clean up the one of the elders' homes in the neighborhood. You're going to, there's so many creative things. You're going to go volunteer at the homeless shelter. With children his age, it's best to put them to work. Make them do things that they don't want to do. That's the most effective way of dealing with middle and high school children. Just sending them to their room ain't going to get it done. Just taking away the cell phone, although you may need to, that's not going to be enough all by itself. You have to make them do things that they don't want to do. So I recommend that you do that. That's one. But I think you have to become more conscious of the way you're talking to him, because you almost talk to him like he's a Negro off the street. That's how it sounds like you talk to him. You cannot talk to your son like he is a Negro off the street. Now, I know you say you tell him you love him every day, but I'm trying to figure out, how does that work when on the one hand you tell him you love him, and then the next hand you're calling him a, N-I-G-G-A. So I think you got to watch your language. I think you got to watch your language. I think he does need grief counseling as well, because he lost his father. He lost his father, and he's going to need someone to talk to as a result of that. What's going on with the grief counseling?
The grief counseling, nobody ever contacts me, so I'm like, I don't know where to start, honestly.
I want you to contact.
When I did try to contact somebody, they talking about webcam and stuff like that. I said, no, I think this need to be like in person, so he can like feel, somebody's like overstanding him. Or right,
I agree with you, but guess what? If he has to do webcam until we can get him in front of someone that he can physically talk to, and I agree with you, in person is best, but some counseling is better than no counseling. You feel me?
Right.
So if all he can do is the webcam, then let him do it, because he needs to process. He got a lot going on inside of him, and it's also the possibility that he might perceive that you treat his sister better than him. Is that a possibility as well? I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying he may perceive that. Is that a possibility?
He says that, my mom says that, and I'm like, that's not it. I'm not treating one better.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why does your mom say that? Why does your mom say you treat your daughter better than your son? What is her reason?
Like, oh, with Bella, you'll give her a warning, or a little tap to stand the third. Well, Bella don't do that. Versus him, I'm like, right. Now I'm like, first of all, he's a boy, number one. They're not going to treat him soft. Like, I'm basically.
No, you don't have to be soft. But okay. Make sure, and I want you to hear me well when I say this. I want you to hear me really well when I say this.
Okay.
You're not going to turn him into a girl, right? And you don't have to be soft, but you cannot be abusive. Let me tell you what I think you might be going through. Two things. Number one, sometimes when a mother has unresolved issues with an absent father, and in your son's case, the deceased father, right? Deceased, not absent, deceased. But when there's unresolved issues between the mother and the father, the mother can unconsciously take out the anger or the pain, the hurt she has towards the father. She can take it out on his son. You have to make sure you're not transferring the energy you have for the father to your son unconsciously. I've seen women do it, and they don't even know they're doing it. It's like they think they're punishing the father, but you're punishing your son. And it's an unconscious thing. And I need you to get in contact with that, because I think you have a lot of transference going on. What's your thoughts on that piece?
So I don't, well, some people say, because I heard that before, some people say, like, oh, if the child looks like the dad, you know, mom's hit the
Does he look like his father?
No, like, you see my son, that's my twin.
Okay, he looks like you. Okay. That still doesn't eliminate the possibility, though. And you just said other people have told you that.
Yeah, like, they'll my mom, not my mom. And I'm like, here's the thing, Dr. Umar. I do not like their father. I hate that got to the court. He wound up, you know, sleep with my cousin, having a baby by her, and, you know, that's where, you know, whatever. I never talked badly about their dad. You know, I said, you know, y'all find out with him. Y'all find out about him, you know, as you get older, or whatever she may be. I don't think that I take my anger out on Lorenzo. I think when I'm at my wit's end with Lorenzo, it's just time to, all right, let's go.
But see, you can't be saying that to Lorenzo, though. You can't be saying, I'm at my wit's end with you. I don't know what to do with you. Because when you say that kind of stuff, you communicate, number one, powerlessness. And it's never good for a mother to communicate powerlessness to her son. Mothers have to stop saying stuff like, I don't know what to do with you. Don't ever say that kind of stuff, because it tells your son you don't have any control over him. You don't ever want your son to believe that you don't believe you have any control. So stop saying that. That's one. And then the other thing it communicates to the child, they can perceive that as you don't care. He can perceive that as my mother doesn't want to be bothered with me. He doesn't see it as, you know, she's having a hard time dealing with my behavior. He'll see it as my mom don't want to be bothered with me. So you got to be careful with that. Be very careful
with that, because the counselor did want to call me the next day, like, oh, I noticed Lorenzo's pretty quiet. Is there anything going on?
Depression. I think he's depressed.
Like, I had to send him to my mom's house for a couple of days because I needed to. I was still mad the next day because I wound up breaking this boy game, everything.
You broke his game. You're verbally abusive, Queen. Now, here's the other thing. You need some counseling yourself because you've been through a lot. You need some, I can hear it. Your pain is coming through. Hurt people hurt people. You got to get some help yourself, or you're going to end up abusing that boy. And we don't want a situation where he hates his mother when he turns 18 and 19 years old.
Exactly.
You follow me? You need help and he needs help. Here's what I think you should do. I think you should contact Trenton Psychiatric, right? Trenton Psychiatric, or even DIFUS. If are they already in your life or no?
No, I have a close case with them like a long time ago.
Okay, then don't mess with DIFUS. But I would call Trenton Psychiatric. I wouldn't give them my name. I would just say, hey, I'm wondering if you have any referrals, you know, for counseling for kids. My son don't need no medication. He don't need no psychiatrist. Let them know. I'm not looking for a psychiatrist. I'm looking for counseling. He lost his father a couple of years ago, and I was wondering, because they would know. Trenton Psychiatric would know all the services in Trenton. So call Trenton Psychiatric Hospital and ask them what services are available in the city for kids who need counseling, not medication, just counseling. And you can also ask them about yourself as well.
Hello, I'm sorry.
Yes. Ask them about yourself, counseling for mom, and also counseling for son. And then I think that both of you, there needs to be some family counseling too, when you and him actually talk to somebody together. But both of you have your own separate issues, and then you have your collective issue. I would contact Trenton Psychiatric. The other thing I would do is I would Google black psychologists in Trenton, New Jersey, or black psychologists in Hamilton County. You guys are Hamilton County, right? Or Mercer County. Mercer County. Okay, black psychologists in Mercer County, and see who's in your area. Y'all do have some up there because, again, I interned up there. So you do got black psychologists up there in Trenton. He needs to talk to somebody ASAP. I think his son is depressed. I don't want him going to marijuana, okay? And I don't want him joining a gang, okay? Because
I'm fine because I'm like, maybe that's it. Maybe because, you know, I'm not going to lie. My kids, they notice the change in my aura when I smoke. They notice I'm happier, or, you know, I'm more.
So you use marijuana then to self-medicate?
And so I'm like, is that really respect? Because when he notices that, like, you know, I'm high, you know, my eyes are probably glassy, wherever the kids may be. That's when he'll be like, oh, mommy, can I do this? Can I do that? And I'll probably be like, oh, yeah, you know, yeah, because they see that I'm in a happier mood.
Okay, he asks you if he can smoke?
No, not no smoke. Stop. I was saying, like, when I smoke, when I used to smoke, because I'm 5 days clean now.
5 days clean. But woman, who you playing with? 5 days clean.
He noticed
you ain't clean at all. Cut it out. But listen, don't smoke around the children. Do not smoke around the children. Do not pattern that behavior for them.
It's the same thing.
Don't.
Even if I'm in the living room and they in their room, it's the same thing. You're absolutely right. But it's like, that's my way to cope, because I've been doing this by myself for 9 years now. It's just like, when do I get my breaker? You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets on my nerves.
Yeah,
like,
you're stressed out and you're taking it out on him. Here's the other thing I want you to be real careful of. I want you to hear me well, because I think that you're at risk for this. Your case is pretty serious. So I want you to reach out to Trenton Psychiatric, and also want you to Google Black psychologists in Mercer County. But here's the other piece of advice I want to give you, sister.
Okay.
Sometimes women, mothers, in an attempt to make sure their son become men, in an attempt to make sure he's tough, he's strong, he's manly, he's masculine, sometimes women can go too far, to the point where you end up breaking your son's masculinity as opposed to building it. You have to be careful. I have worked with young men who were members of the rainbow community. And you know what the rainbow community is. I've worked with young men, and guess how they came into the life? From an emotionally and psychologically abusive mother who was so over the top with her criticism, so over the top with her discipline, not providing him with enough love, to the point where he questioned his manhood, start feeling insecure about it, and started experimenting with the alternative lifestyle. The way that you're treating your son, you're emotionally cold towards him, right? And at the same time, you are emotionally aggressive. And I also think you're verbally abusive, because you curse and you probably call him things that you don't mean to call him, that he will never forget. And those shots that he's taken from you, those verbal shots that he's taken from you, are going to impact the way he sees himself. Okay? And your son can end up with a fractured sense of masculinity. He can end up with a fractured sense of manhood, and that could open up an opportunity for somebody to exploit that weakness in him and lead to him being recruited by the Rainbow Nation. Be careful, Queen. Watch your mouth. Do not punish when you're angry. Don't even talk to him when you're angry. Just send him to his room until you calm down. And then you tell him, when I calm down, I'm going to call you outside the room so we can sit down and talk. Stop the yelling. Stop the screaming. You don't need to do either to punish. Punishments, verbal abuse is not punishment. Stop thinking it is. Verbal abuse will destroy a child psychologically. It will not change the behavior. He might even get worse. You have to watch your language, and you have to spend more time with him doing positive things, just you and him, without the daughter. So you need time for just you. You need time for you and your daughter. You need time for you and your son. And then you need time for the family, all three of you. Okay, so you need to have a date with yourself every week. You need to have a date with your daughter every week. You need to have a date with your son every week. And then there needs to be a date with all three of you every week. He needs some one-on-one from you. Some one-on-one.
And I did, you know, I asked my friend, you know, can you take him fishing? So that kind of helped. He took my son fishing. Like I said, Doc, I'll be trying. I know it sounds like that.
Tell me about this friend. Tell me about this friend, because... Tell me about this friend, because the friend could be a blessing or a curse. And what I mean by that, if he's going to spend time with your son, and he's somebody who should be spending time with your son, assuming he got character and integrity, then that could be a good thing, right? But it could also be a curse, because if that man builds a bond with your son and you two don't end up working out, that can devastate your son. He already lost his father. He don't need to lose another male figure. You understand me? So you need to have a serious conversation with your friend and say, listen, be honest with me. If you and I don't work, can you still be that role model for my son? Will you still take him out?
That's why he is the friend. But the problem with that friend is he wants more from me. And just because listen, I don't want to be a girlfriend. Listen, my friend, he likes, I don't know, he wants to be with me. I'm like, I don't like you like that, but I do like that we are friends, and we just both happen to have kids. He has one teenager and I have kids. You know what I go through every day, so let me take him here to stand in third. So he's a positive role model to an extent because, he got his little ways where he drinks a lot, whatever. And when he drinks a lot, he starts saying stuff out the side of his mouth, and that's when I get up and we out of here.
Okay, he drinks a lot.
Yeah.
We can't. Okay, well, he can't be taking your son places if he drinking too much, sister. I mean, that's a possible drink.
No, I wouldn't have my kids around that. I did have them around when he was smoking, but we was outside fishing. You know what I'm saying?
So they was fishing and y'all was smoking.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta stop smoking around the kids. Stop modeling that behavior. Stop that. No, you cannot normalize that.
But then I'm trying to hide it. You know what I'm saying?
Just don't do it around. It ain't about hiding it. You just, and you can tell them, I do this. This is something I don't want y'all to do, and I'm not going to do it in your presence. But by doing it around them, you're normalizing it. You're introducing it to them, actually, is what you're doing without even realizing it. Go outside and smoke. Go in the yard. You don't do it in front of them. Don't normalize that. And another reason why you got to be careful, sister, if DIFUS comes back into the picture, and I did my internship with DIFUS. That's who my pre-doctoral internship was with, DIFUS. They interview your children or your neighbors, and they tell them you smoking marijuana in front of your kids, they're going to take them. That's enough for them to take them from you. You see, because recreational marijuana, I don't believe it's legal in New Jersey. Y'all don't have recreational marijuana in New Jersey. You got medical.
No, it's legal now. We legal.
Okay, okay. So y'all don't get arrested for it in Jersey.
Say that again?
You cannot be arrested for marijuana possession in New Jersey?
No. Not smoking outside. They got spots opening up. We got the New Jersey Weed Man downtown.
And you don't have, and it doesn't have to be medical, right? It can be y'all recreational.
Nope, don't gotta be medical.
Okay, understood. I still wouldn't do it in front of the kids. Because even though smoking marijuana doesn't have the same long-term side effects as, hard drugs or alcohol, they still have side effects. And you don't want your kids being turned. You don't want your son will become a weed head. If he starts smoking to deal with his depression instead of getting help, which is what you're doing. You started smoking to deal with your issues instead of getting help. If he does that, he'll be turned out by the time he's 16. Damn near irreversible. And the other thing I want you to know. The other thing I
didn't smoke as heavy until I'm a dad, whatever. So when I found out that he was doing hard drugs, I'm like, well, when did you start this? So I believe that it can lead to other things. And my son, he's a happy-go-lucky kid, for real. If you meet him, you'll be like, okay.
I got you.
Then the other side.
I got you, but stop smoking in front of him. The other thing I want you to understand, sister, and this is something all black people smoke marijuana need to understand. The marijuana that is now being distributed throughout the United States and around the world is being, listen to me, it's being sprayed with artificial cannabis chemicals made in China. Listen to me. They are making cannabinoids in China, artificial. And these cannabinoids give you a higher high and a longer high. And the cannabinoids the artificial cannabinoids is much more addictive and habit forming than the regular THC that is in the CBD that naturally occurs within the marijuana. So in other words, when you smoke regular marijuana, you get the THC in the CBD, right? Natural oils and chemicals that make you high, whatever. Not very addictive, okay? Addictive, but not very addictive. But the artificial cannabinoids that China is making, that weed producers are spraying on their weed, will make you just as addictive as an opioid. So we're going to see a whole new crop of marijuana addicts whose behavior and whose side effects are going to be identical to the opioid addicts. I just watched a whole special on it the other day. A whole special. They're warning people right now. The new wave of marijuana is going to have you skitzing out just like an opioid addict. And a lot of our people are going to lose their minds. They're going to go into a schizophrenic episode as a result of smoking that weed laced with the artificial cannabinoids, and they're never going to come back down to earth. They're going to be paranoid schizophrenic for the rest of their life.
but that's why I stay on 5 days clean, because I feel like that it's been starting to affect me, because I'm like, at this point, I need a clear mind. I need to be completely clean and see what's going on. And I just want clear thoughts, and maybe, you know, I'll parent way better. But I think I feel like I'm doing a good job so far, but I can do better. You know
Exactly. We commend you, Queen. You can do better, and I want you to try to do better.
I had my kids on @𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚂𝙲𝚁𝙸𝙱𴏡 and, you know, doing all type of stuff. And I feel like after I had my kids and after this guy showed me who he was, I did want to get my tubes clamped, and now I'm going for surgery to get it undone. But I did that because I was...
Artificial cannabinoids is much more addictive and habit forming than the regular THC that is in the CBD that naturally occurs within the marijuana. So in other words, when you smoke regular marijuana, you get the THC in the CBD, right? Natural oils and chemicals that make you high, whatever. Not very addictive, okay? Addictive, but not very addictive. But the artificial cannabinoids that China is making, that weed producers are spraying on their weed, will make you just as addictive as an opioid. So we're going to see a whole new crop of marijuana addicts whose behavior and whose side effects are going to be identical to the opioid addicts. I just watched a whole special on it the other day. A whole special. They're warning people right now. The new wave of marijuana is going to have you skitzing out just like an opioid addict. And a lot of our people are going to lose their minds. They're going to go into a schizophrenic episode as a result of smoking that weed laced with the artificial cannabinoids, and they're never going to come back down to earth. They're going to be paranoid schizophrenic for the rest of their life.
But that's why I stay on 5 days clean, because I feel like that it's been starting to affect me, because I'm like, at this point, I need a clear mind. I need to be completely clean and see what's going on. And I just want clear thoughts, and maybe, you know, I'll parent way better. But I think I feel like I'm doing a good job so far, but I can do better. You know,
exactly. We commend you, Queen. You can do better, and I want you to try to do better.
I had my kids on @𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚂𝚗𝚱𝚂𝚗𝙱 and, you know, doing all type of stuff. And I feel like after I had my kids and after this guy showed me who he was, I did want to get my tubes clamped, and now I'm going for surgery to get it undone. But I did that because I was like, this will never happen to me again. Like, I shed my loins for you. 2 kids. The one son that you only wanted, and now we got a daughter, and then you goes and sleep with my cousin and stuff like that. So it's just like, that made me, you know, one, get my tubes tied, and then I just started smoking like heavily, like to deal with kids, bills, and all this other stuff that I gotta deal with by myself. But
Got you.
I got hope for my son. I'm not saying he's not a terrible kid. He just is because
spend more time with him. You gotta.
I'm sorry. He acts like he don't know how to concentrate. Mm-hmm. But you know how to concentrate when you want to play this Roblox and you want to play these games and when you want to talk about your lizard and stuff like that. You're very smart, Lorenzo. Stop playing with me.
Right, but try to use more encouraging words. Like when he do good things, reward him for that. Not with money and toys, but just with a hug. Good job. I want to see more of that. Children love attention, and they would rather get positive than negative. You can change your son with positive attention. And that's what I want you to start doing. Stop being so vicious with that tongue. You can be vicious with your tongue, Queen. You will do, I'm telling you, you will break that boy's sense of manhood in a way that he won't be able to repair it. Watch your mouth. Be more positive with your language. You can give him consequences. Consequences don't require you to yell. Consequences don't require you to curse. Consequences don't require you to be verbally abusive. You follow me? Just give him the consequence. Do it in a calm voice. You messed up. This is your punishment. But start spending time with your son one-on-one outside the house, just you and him, and explain to your daughter and explain to him what's going on. I'm going to be with her on Wednesday. I'm going to be with you on Thursday. Y'all could go for a walk. Y'all could go for a slice of pizza. It ain't got to be nothing expensive. Y'all could go sit in the park and play checkers, you know, at the bench. Think of real simple things that allow y'all to bond. Your son needs to bond with you, because if he don't bond with you, he going to bond with a gang. Gangs are surrogate families. Children join gangs when they don't feel like they have a family to be a part of. So yes, you're doing a good job. Keep up the good work. But please, please, please change the way you talk.
That's your place, and I'm going to see what they do.
Yeah, call Trenton Psychiatric. Also Google Black psychologists in Mercer County as well.
Okay.
All right. And see if you can find me a place to come up there and speak.
Hit him up right now.
Okay. And if y'all find me that spot, I want to have a session with you and your son. You're going to need to remind me. It'll either be before the lecture or after the lecture, an hour with me, you, and your son. And it don't have to be at your house. We can go to the park somewhere. But I want a 1 hour session with me, you, and your son.
Okay.
All right? You got my number. Keep me posted, Queen. And leave that weed alone. 5 days strong. 5 days. I want you to get the 50 days strong.
Thank you for talking to
me.
No
problem. No problem. All right, guys. Be blessed. Black mothers, watch how you talk to your sons. Black mothers, watch how you talk to your sons.
Peace and blessings, Dr. Umar. How are you today?
Peace and love, Sister Marcia. What part of Philly you in, Queen?
Northwest near B&O.
Northwest. Okay, Germantown, Mount Airy, West Oak Lane?
Yes, you're right near Girls Eye. My alma mater.
Got you. Go ahead and tell me, what's your question, beautiful?
Well, my question sort of changed now listening to the conversation you just had with that sister, and I want to thank you. You addressed some issues that I wasn't even facing, especially with the cannabis. I'm like...
Yes, Queen. They're spraying the cannabis with chemicals that are pharmacologically not far removed from the opioid and the methamphetamines.
See, I didn't know that part of it.
Yes.
But, and I'm wondering, my sons, I was calling about my 12-year-old daughter, but my sons are 25 and 27. They're men, I know, but I'm still their mother, and they smoke every day. That's the only thing consistently they do. They do work. I'm not saying they're bad boys or anything like that. But, I never smoked, but now when I hear what you just said, I'm like replaying some issues in my head. Maybe I was a little verbally abusive with them because their father wasn't around and, they all have the same father and, I'm like, where's this cannabis uses? And I used to tell them, without having your expertise, I used to say to them, I said, there's no, I grew up, of course, around an older brother in the 70s. I'm used to weed. I said, where are your sticks? Where's the seeds? I said, you don't know what you're smoking.
Artificial. Yes, artificial marijuana. Yes, artificial marijuana and marijuana with a very low THC and CBD level. And so they spray it. And China makes it. And then somebody said, well, marijuana is illegal in China. So are a lot of the other chemicals that China sells around the world. That don't mean just because they don't use it, don't mean they don't make it, right? Okay.
The same food that they eat, they don't
exactly. They don't eat the food they sell us. Exactly. Exactly. China is the according to the program that I saw, China is the leading producer of artificial cannabinoids that they're using to spray the marijuana with, and it's so strong that it is just as toxic and just as dangerous as opioids and meth.
I'd like to see that program because, my son, he has these like outbursts sometimes, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not that serious. But now, what you're telling me, I want to see that program, definitely. I'm going to Google it, see if I can find it.
Yeah. Google cannabinoids, Chinese cannabinoids, it should pop up. But the one guy, it was a drug dealer. He was a drug dealer, one of the biggest drug dealers in the world. And he said the marijuana we get now is not the marijuana we used to get, and all of it is being sprayed. He said people are not getting high off the THC and the CBD. They're getting high off of the artificially produced cannabinoids. And he said those cannabinoids are so dangerous that smoking weed now is almost as bad as smoking opioids and meth. He said it. The drug dealer said
and
it.
they're not going to treat our children the way they treat the current opioid patients with the Narcan in the library and all this nonsense. They're going to treat them the way they treated crack addicts. You know, and it's weird. I told them, I said, stuff don't even smell right. I remember back in the day, weed had a smell to it that wasn't bad, but this smell, it's like, that smells like I told them, I said, that smells like a chemistry experiment. I told them, it's like, what are y'all doing? You're too young. Why are you using this stuff? Because, you know, back in the day, brothers were smoking after work, you know, on the weekend. I said, my brother didn't smoke weed you guys smoke weed every day. What is that? But now, thank you for that. Now I know I'm going to do my research, but I don't know how I can get through to them now, because the world tells them at, you know, 18, they don't have to listen, but now they're 25 and 27, you know. I've always, they
well, remember, they still got to listen if they're in your house. They still got to follow your rules.
See, and I moved back into my father's house to take care of him. So it's my father's house. And all three of them, including my father, has told me this is his house. So that sort of has not, you know.
Well, but your father can't.
Away.
Okay, you got to make sure your father doesn't undermine.
That's too late. That's a foregone.
Oh, okay.
And now he doesn't remember that he did it. So it's like, because he's 90, and you know he's old. That's why I moved back to take care of him. My mother has Alzheimer's. You know, it's just, I've had 2 heart surgeries. There's a lot going on.
Okay, you got to change that diet, beautiful.
Say that again.
I said you have to change that diet. Get off that grease and oil. Start getting more salads and fruits up in you.
Okay. Yeah, I have a metal valve in my heart, so now they're telling me I can't eat greens, and this is ridiculous. I'm trying to find a way. There's a brother at 10th and Alany that's working with me. He's an herbalist, and he's trying to help me get, you know, at this point, the metal's in me now. I don't know how, you know, I've done the damage. But I was calling, because like I said, I have a lot of things going on, and I really don't want to say this on the phone because I don't want nobody to really come look for me. I'm homeschooling my daughter, and I'm dropping the ball. I'm not going to kid you. I'm dropping the ball. I'm not consistent. You know, I don't want her, you know, I talked to her. I have tons of books, you know, all the Del Jones books. I have, you know, Garvey books. I have, you know, just about every book, you know, Naima, or you name it, I have it. But like I said, my consistency because of the guilt I carry, because this child is 12 and she's been through 2 heart surgeries with me. Like I said, their father is not in the picture. Even though he's in Philly and alive and well and kicking. And I just don't know how I can turn this around, because she is addicted to the computer. I know you say take it away.
You got to take it away. You got to take it away. Because here's what I'm going to tell you, Queen. If you're not doing a better job than the public school, send her back to public school. You feel me? You got to be honest with yourself.
One thing I'm dropping the ball with the consistency. I am teaching her value and her worth as an African.
Which is good, but you can do that even if she goes to school, though.
Like I said, my sons tease me. They call me 𝚂𝚄𝙱𝚂𝙲𝚁, because, like I think I spoke to you before, I knew Del. You know, I know Deke. And, you know, my son went to Academy of the Way when that school was in existence. My children graduated from Imhotep. You know, so I try to keep them, and I'm always talking to them. We're always analyzing. So in that sense, I think I am doing better than the public school, in the sense of, you know, propping her up and making her understand and realize that she is the descendant of kings and queens, and that it's not just
What grade is she in?
I'm sorry?
What grade is your princess in?
She should be in 7th. Like I said, I had heart surgery and I'm still recovering.
So do you even have the energy to homeschool anymore? I'm concerned about that. Like, do you really have the energy, given the fact you had your surgery and you're rehabilitating yourself? Do you really have the energy to properly homeschool, or is she getting away by not doing what she's supposed to do?
What you said, probably.
Because let me tell you my concern, and I've seen this over and over right here in Philly. We don't want a situation. How long you been homeschooling her? Since what grade? How many years? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? How long you been doing it?
3 years.
You've been homeschooling her for 3 years. Let's say you decide to stick her back into high school in the 9th grade. You stick her back in the 9th grade and she take the PSSA and all her levels are like the 4th or 5th grade level. They're going to be trying to call your daughter educably mentally retarded or at least learning disabled. So I'm telling you now, and this is why I tell homeschool parents, you have to know how long you're going to homeschool before you start homeschooling. Because if you don't plan to homeschool through high school graduation, which means that child will be placed back into school at some point, you got to make sure that they have the skills commensurate with the grade that they'll be rejoining school at. Make sure you download Pennsylvania state standards for the grade. So when you download Pennsylvania state standards for 7th grade, 6th grade, and 5th, get the past 3 years, you can see everything your child should be able to do. And you got to ask yourself, can she do this stuff? Because if she can't, you're going to have to get real intensive with your homeschool regimen, or you're going to have to stick her back into school before it's too late. Because the worst thing that can happen to your daughter is to go to high school and not have the skills to be successful in high school. She'll end up dropping out. Homeschool can be good, but a homeschool can be dangerous if it's not done right. So I'm saying that what you might need to think about doing is getting her ready to go back next year. She might even have to repeat the 7th grade if you think, she might not be ready. She might got to, go in 7th. Okay. But even if you think she's ready for 8th next year, this summer got to be real intensive. I think you should hire a tutor. I think you should hire a tutor to work with her with math and reading and writing to help get her up. So when she goes back to school, she's where she needs to be. If it ain't going to be done right, homeschooling shouldn't be done at all. And I understand the challenges you have. So in no way am I criticizing you, Queen. I'm just saying I need you to be honest about whether or not you can do this anymore.
Right. And everything you said has been in the back of my head. I feel like I failed her as it is with the 2 surgeries. And she watched all of this. And now, like I said, she sees her brother, her brother's every day or something. You can smell it. It's like,
it might be time for them. They're going to have to get some rules, or they're going to have to get out. Like, we have to stop this. We have this thing where no matter how poorly our children treat us or disrespect us, we're still going to baby them and coddle them. If those grown Negroes can't respect your daughter, they need to be put out the house. And if your father, who you're taking care of, understandably, but if he can't support you in putting your sons back in line, then you got to say, Dad, I'm not going to be able to take care of you. You either going to have to put them out, or me and my daughter got to leave. Make a decision. Because they're not going to take care of them. I mean, you're going to have to put your foot down, Queen, because you got too much to deal with. You got your own self. You got your daughter. You taking care of your father. That's a lot on you. You got to take care of yourself post-surgery. You got to take care of your father. You homeschooling your daughter. You have to be exhausted. And on top of that, you got 2 grown sons who want to do whatever the hell they want, include smoking all through the house in front of your baby. No, something got to change. Either you and your daughter got to move, or your father got to put them out, or they got to stop following some rules. You have to be exhausted. You got too much on your plate to be putting up with this. You still there, Queen? Oh, her phone must have gave out. Her phone must have gave out. Somebody just text me. I want to have your baby. Cut it out, Queen. Cut it out. All right. I got time for one more. I got to get on the radio. Detroit, Detroit, Detroit. Don't forget my Albany Africans. I need a space in Albany for a free community lecture. Sunday, May 1st from 5 to 9. Free community lecture in Albany. 5 to 9, May 1st. If you know of a place, hit me 215-989-9858. We're going back to Trenton. We're going back to Trenton, New Jersey. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the personal Cash App, Dr. Umar Johnson. Hit the personal Cash App, Dr. Umar. Peace and love, Sister Melissa. How you doing today?
Good. You already called me, Doctor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Queen. I didn't move. I was like, okay, I got another sister from Trenton. My bad. Keep me posted on that venue, Melissa. Keep me posted. All right, babe. All right. Okay. Dr. Umar, this is Sister Bahamian Trey from Instagram. It pains my heart to the core to tell you this. I left the job I was at because I was being underpaid. Minimum wage here is $250 a week. I got paid $100 a week. Just last month, I left the radio station. I've sent out resumes at other radio stations. I just wanted to be transparent, not lead you on. Okay, we got people struggling out there. You know what I'm going to have to start doing? I think I got an idea. We about to bring back the NIBPA. NIBPA. Licensed behavior specialist in PA. Okay, Sister Tamara, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. All right, all right, all right. Okay, I got you, Queen. I got you. We might even, okay, I got you, Sister Tamara. I forgot that you got them licenses. So we're gonna work with that. We're gonna work with that. Dr. Umar, I've been sexually assaulted in childhood and a teenager. My siblings have as well, my mother. And now that I have 2 daughters, I have a fear that somebody's going to sexually assault my children. I was living with my boyfriend at one point. He would get dressed in front of my daughters and never had an issue with it. Oh man, I've had concern about him before I realized that it was just a fear I had. Like when he took longer to change their diapers. Do you think my fear is good to have, or do you think I may need some kind of therapy? How do I know who can be trusted? And I don't shelter my children from the world. My father was not around growing up and wasn't active, one of whom tried to bring advances towards me. Wow, okay. What I would say is not about fear. It's about protecting your child, okay? If you don't trust them, they can't be alone with the child, period. You might even be wrong in thinking that the man can't be trusted. But so what? I would rather feel offended that you think I would do something that I would never do and protect your child than drop your guard and your child gets abused. And this is what I tell black men, because I know black men, they say, Doc, my queen don't trust me around her daughter. You know, she be feeling all iffy, so I be feeling iffy, is just not comfortable. Brothers, the damage done to a black woman who has been violated is so traumatic that we as black men have to understand that black women come from a culture of sex abuse. Black women have a strong culture of sex abuse, and they're being sexually abused by black men. So when you date a woman who has children, or even if you are around your own biological children, I tell black men, be as transparent as you can. Be as transparent as you can. Change the baby in front of the mom. Wash the baby in front. Come on, let's wash it together. Let's change it together, because I need you to be comfortable. And if you never get comfortable with me being alone, I'm okay with that too, because I need you to be comfortable. I don't want a mother having to decide if I should leave my daughter alone with my fiance, with my boyfriend, with my husband, with her baby father. I'm of the opinion, if you feel more comfortable being around, then be around. I'm not going to feel offended as a man, because I know that the risks are too high. And if she drops her guard with me, she may drop her guard with another man who might be the wrong one, who will abuse the child. So black men, we have to get comfortable with women who are uncomfortable having men around their children. Let me say it again. Black men, we have to be comfortable around women who are uncomfortable having men around your children. Okay? I'm very serious about that. I'm very serious about that. If it's best for her to take her daughter with her, let her take her daughter with her and tell her that, listen, queen, I know you're not comfortable leaving your baby with me. I know you're not comfortable leaving your 5-year-old with me. I know you're not comfortable leaving your 12-year-old. I need you to be at peace. I am not offended if you decide to take her with you every time you leave this house, because I know what you've been through. I know what your mom been through. I know what your sister's been through. I know what your auntie's been through. Go ahead and take her with you. It would not bother me, because I understand the trauma. Brothers, she's dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. Don't make it harder on her. Why you acting like I'm going to touch the kid? You think I'm a pedophile? Don't do that. That's not the way to deal with women who've been traumatized. They're going to be overly protective of their daughters. They're going to be overly protective of their daughters because they've been traumatized. Respect the trauma. Respect the trauma. I'm not saying accept it. I'm saying respect the trauma. If that's what she needs to do, let her do it. Stop fighting with these women about how uncomfortable they are with you around your child when you know you are innocent of any wrongdoing. Let them do it. Because guess what, brother? Guess what, black man? Let me tell you what you don't want. You don't want her to leave that daughter at home. And then when you're not around, she questions that 6-year-old when you're not around, and she leads with the questioning. Because children have a very impressionable mind. Children have a very impressionable mind. Children have a very impressionable mind. So she questions that 6-year-old and says, did he touch you here? Did he kiss you in the mouth? Did he show you? You don't supposed to question a kid like that. All the questions should be open. What did he do? Tell me what he did. Tell everything he did. Is that all he did? Just tell me what you don't lead a child with questions, because children have a confirmatory bias. They want to please the adults. And if the baby feels that her mother wants to say you touched her, the baby will say you touched her. And then the baby will create a false imagination and a memory based on something that didn't even happen. I did a whole research report on this, working on my doctorate. False memories implanted in children. I did a whole research report working on my doctorate. False memories implanted in children by their parents. False memories are real. You can make a child think they was victimized and they were never even victimized. So trust me, black man, if she wants to take the girl, let her take the girl, for you end up in prison for something you didn't do, because the traumatized mother is leading with questions that she's asking the child when you are not around. Brothers and sisters, I know I still got some parents on the line, but I got to cut. I got to get ready for Detroit. Couple of announcements. Please reserve Saturday, September 10th, 2022 for the second annual FDMG Festival. Please reserve Saturday, September 10th. 601 East 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware. Registration will begin May 1st. Vendor registration, performance registration will begin May 1st for the festival. Detroit, Michigan, I will be in Highland Park in Detroit the last Sunday of this month. I will be in Highland Park in Detroit the last Sunday of this month, April the 24th. Doors open at 2, program from 3 to 7. We will be at the Hamilton Tucker Art Gallery in Detroit, Highland Park. Hamilton Tucker Art Gallery, 16065 Hamilton Avenue, 16065 Hamilton Avenue. This Saturday, Long Island, New York. Also free. You don't have to register. Just come. Bring the kids, bring the elders. Leave the Negro peons at home. Saturday, April the 16th, we will be at the Roosevelt Public Library in Long Island, New York. Roosevelt, New York, 21 West Fulton Avenue in Long Island. Roosevelt Library, 3 to 7, doors at 2. We also have the Albany I Am a Man March.org. Make sure you go register, IamAManMarch.org. Panel discussions all day Saturday. There's a dinner Saturday night. There's a march Saturday afternoon. And I'm hoping to hear from one of my Albany Africans. I want to do a free seminar. I've never been to Albany, Georgia. This is my first time. I want to do a free seminar in Albany, Georgia, Sunday, May 1st, 5 to 9. If you have a location, please let me know. So with that being said, I got to get ready to jump on the Superstation 910 Detroit AM. Hit the Cash App for the school, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App for the school, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App for Dr. Umar, $Dr. Umar Johnson, $Dr. Umar Johnson. School donations go to the school. Cash at me, personal donations. Do not mix the two. School donations, $FDMG School. School donations, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Personal donations, $Dr. Umar Johnson, and paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist. My European Africans, shout out to my London Africans, my Wolverhampton Africans, my Paris Africans, my Amsterdam Africans. I was invited to keynote African Liberation Day in Nottingham, England, May 27th and 28th. I just received an invitation to keynote African Liberation Day in the United Kingdom, Black England, in Nottingham, the 27th and the 28th. King Kong consciousness is coming back to the United Kingdom. King Kong consciousness is coming back to Europe. African Liberation Day, May 27th, May 28th. London gang, pull up. Paris gang, pull up. Amsterdam gang, pull up. Wolverhampton gang, pull up. Luton gang, pull up. Bristol gang, pull up. The Prince is returning to London. African Liberation Day, May 27th, 28th. The Garvey grenade is coming. Let's make it pop. Peace and Pan-Africanism.